Hey everyone, welcome to The Explainer. Have you ever looked at a company's financials and just thought to yourself, okay, these numbers look good, but where are they actually going? If you have, you're asking exactly the right question. Today, we're going to break down how you can look beyond the numbers to see where a company is truly headed. So, here's what we've got on tap. We're going to start with what these engines of growth actually are, then we'll go beyond the balance sheet to really understand the qualitative stuff. We'll get into why this analysis is so important, give you a toolkit so you can do it yourself, and then we'll wrap it all up with a real-world case study on Tesla.
All right, let's dive right in. To really get a handle on a company's future, you got to start with one really fundamental question.
And yeah, it's a tricky one, right? I mean, financial reports, they're awesome. They're like a detailed history book of everything that's already happened. But if you want the crystal ball, if you want to know what's next, that's where you need to understand its growth drivers.
So here's a good way to think about it. Imagine the company is this super sleek, high-performance car. Well, the growth drivers, those are the brand new engines they're building in the workshop right now. These are the engines that are going to power that car for the next, say, 3 to 5 years. They're the absolute core strategies for what's coming. Okay, and this next part is where things get really interesting, because we're making a big shift here. We're kind of stepping away from the hard numbers, the spreadsheets, and we're diving into the story a company is telling about its own future. Exactly. These qualitative drivers, that's where you find the story behind all those numbers. We're not talking about financial metrics anymore. We're talking about the actual plans, the big bets they're making, and the strategic moves that show you where management's head is at.
So, what does this actually look like in the real world? What are we hunting for? Well, they can show up in a bunch of different ways, from launching brand new products to buying up other companies. Let's break down a few of the most powerful ones. Okay, first up, new product launches. Apple is the perfect example here. For a decade more, the iPhone was the engine. But now, by launching something like the Vision Pro, they're making this huge strategic bet on a totally new category, this whole spatial computing thing, to build the revenue streams of tomorrow.
All right, next up, you've got market expansion. This is a classic, right? Just think about Starbucks. Their ability to go into these massive, really complex markets like China and India, and not just survive but thrive, that has been an incredible engine for their growth all over the world.
And then you've got mergers and acquisitions, or M&A. This is another huge one, because let's be honest, sometimes the fastest way to get bigger is to just buy growth. I mean, look at Microsoft buying Activision Blizzard. That's a textbook move. In one fell swoop, they massively boosted their Xbox division and got their hands on millions of new gamers and some iconic games.
Okay, so we've talked about what these drivers are, but so what? Why should you actually care about finding them? Well, it turns out it's absolutely critical for two groups of people: investors, who are trying to guess the future, and the leaders inside the company who are actually trying to build it.
For an investor, it's pretty simple. It helps you make smarter bets. You're looking for companies that have a clear, believable plan for growth. And if you're a leader inside that business, it's proof that you've got a real strategy. It really is the difference between just keeping the lights on and actively building what's next.
All right, so let's get practical. How can you actually do this? We're going to build a little analyst toolkit you can use on any company you're looking at. Believe it or not, you can do this yourself in just 4 steps. First, you got to do your homework. Dig into the company's annual reports, listen to their investor calls, see what they're saying about their future. Then you zoom out. Research what's happening in the entire industry. Step 3, you connect the dots and pinpoint the specific things the company is doing. And last, and this is probably the most important part, you have to use your own brain and ask, is this plan realistic? Can they actually pull this off? Okay, time to put this toolkit into action. And what better company to look at for this kind of forward-looking stuff than, well, Tesla. So if we take our framework and apply it to Tesla, you can pretty quickly spot at least 4 massive qualitative drivers for the next few years. You've got the push for that cheaper $25,000 vehicle to hit the mass market. There's the huge gigafactory expansion happening all over the globe. Then there's the big one, the moonshot, launching a robo-taxi network with full self-driving. And finally, something a lot of people overlook is the massive growth in their energy storage business. Now, each one of these is a potential game changer, but, and it's a big but, each one comes with enormous risks. And that really brings us to the main takeaway here. Doing this kind of analysis helps you cut through all the noise in the daily headlines. It helps you see which companies are really innovating, which ones have a clear vision for the future, and which ones are just kind of coasting on what they've already built. So now you've got the framework, right? I want to leave you with a question to think about. For a company that you follow, What are its real growth engines? What's going to power it for the next 5 years? Try to look past the current quarterly numbers and see if you can spot the big picture. The answers might really surprise you. And hey, thank you so much for watching, friends. Before you go, do me a favor and drop a comment below. Let me know which stock or which sector you'd like to see us analyze next. Seriously, I read all your comments. And remember, here on your Analyzer, we don't just talk about stocks. We also break down and teach every single fundamental ratio in detail so that you can become a better analyst yourself. So for more of this kind of deep learning and market insights, go ahead and subscribe to the channel now. And don't forget to hit that bell icon. Thanks again for watching.
Disclaimer. Educational content only. Not SEBI registered. This is not a buy/sell recommendation. Invest at your own risk.